And I remember until this day, I remember very clearly that I was taking the train to work, and I worked in the city at the time as a life assurance salesman. So I was traveling from my home at the time, and I was traveling to work, and I was literally, I remember very distinctly this epiphany, you know, this moment where something hits you. And I was sitting in the train, I looked out the window, we're just crossing the Thames, the River Thames. I looked back and I said to myself, if I have ever read a book that's from God, this is the one. And I remember that day, that was the time when I thought, yes, this is the one. This is it. If I've ever got my hands on a book that is from God, it's this. I remember that night, I went back home and I was thinking, okay, you know, I need to start praying. The Quran talks about prayer, but actually the Quran doesn't really tell you how to pray. It just says to pray, it gives you a few details. And, you know, I used to remember, okay, how did Ibrahim pray? Yeah, I remember he used to stand and bow and prostrate, and I didn't remember how much he used to do, but it used to take about 5-10 minutes, you know. So I went there and I would just do these things, and the Quran describes about washing your hands and washing your arms and your face. So I used to wash before I prayed each time, every time, you know. And this went on like this. I would pray in the morning, I'd pray in the evening, you know. I wasn't even sure how many times I was supposed to pray, because again, it's not actually detailed clearly in the Quran. So I was doing these things, and this went on for a couple of weeks. And then it happened that I had to go to a part of London I was not used to. And, you know, it was one of those things. I came out of the underground station, and I was supposed to turn left. I didn't turn left. I just happened to turn right. And I walked along, and there was a bookshop. And in the bookshop were all these books in Arabic and English, and they were about Islam, and they were about, you know, so I thought, oh, that looks, I have to come and have a look at that. So I went off to do what I had to do, went back the other way. And I said, I came back, and I went in the, you know, bookshop. Now, I want to tell you something. I looked pretty much the same then as I did now, right? Except I was a bit thinner, okay? I was quite a lot thinner, actually, okay? But I had long hair, and I had a beard, because I was a bit of a hippie, remember? Okay? So I was still into this, you know, this one love and this and that stuff, right? Okay. Okay, so there I was, but the difference was I was a hippie wearing a pinstripe suit. So I had my suit and, you know, my tie and my briefcase. And there I was, and so I went inside this bookshop and was looking at all these books, and all these books about Islam and Muhammad, and, you know, my eyes were going everywhere. Wow! Right, looks fantastic. So I'm standing there, and someone comes up to me and says, excuse me, are you a Muslim? So I said, what do you mean Muslim? He said, I don't know about that. I tell you what, I believe there is only one God, which is Allah, and I believe Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. He said, you're a Muslim. I said, oh, thank you very much. and he said, what, you know, that's fantastic, you're a Muslim. I said, oh, great. So he says, why don't you come and pray? So, you know, he shows me how to make wudu, and, you know, so, you know, I'm making wudu, and then I go and stand and pray. I think it was actually Friday. It must have actually been Friday, because the mosque was full, right? The mosque was only full on Friday, right? Okay. So the mosque was full, and there I was praying. I didn't know what everyone was doing. You know, I was like, okay, let's get this right.